Hey everybody, Governor Phil Murphy here. I want to thank the Attorney General's office as well as the Attorney General himself, Gurbir Grewal, for hosting 2020's inaugural Excellence in Policing Awards. And of course, I want to offer my heartfelt congratulations to the first ever award recipients. New Jersey has the greatest law enforcement officers in the entire United States. And as everyone knows too well, these are unprecedented and challenging times in which to serve. These awardees represent the very best of the law enforcement profession. And it is our honor to highlight some of the great work done by law enforcement every day right here in our great state. Although we are not always aware of it, their everyday work includes acts of valor and of heroism. And we strive to bring our communities closer together and to promote greater public confidence in law enforcement. As we do that, it is more important than ever to recognize these inspiring acts, as well as all the ways our law enforcement officers advance the profession through their innovation, adaptability, and steadfast commitment to keeping the public safe. So we thank our law enforcement professionals for this and so much more. And to all of this year's honorees, congratulations again. New Jersey is incredibly proud of you and the work you do every day to keep us safe. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Governor Murphy, for your support and for your kind words. We would not have been able to accomplish as much as we have without your leadership. 1 year ago today, on December 4th, 2019, I was joined by some of our state's most dedicated law enforcement leaders to announce the Excellence in Policing Initiative, a comprehensive set of law enforcement policies. Policies designed to enhance public safety and public trust. Policies designed to promote the professionalism, accountability, and transparency that are the hallmarks of our finest law enforcement agencies. And policies designed to build on New Jersey's well-deserved reputation of being a leader on policing issues. Today, 1 year later, we gather again, not to discuss policy, but rather to highlight the incredible and heroic work of New Jersey's law enforcement officers. Officers who do their jobs day in and day out with integrity and with distinction. Today, I'm honored to announce the recipients of our inaugural Excellence in Policing Awards. And while we received many impressive nominations for these awards, today we celebrate 8 exemplary awardees. Awardees who, through their dedication, ingenuity, and commitment, have built community trust and have bettered their profession. So please join me in congratulating our inaugural Excellence in Policing Award recipients.
Colonel Pat Callahan here from the New Jersey State Police. Excited to be part of the inaugural Attorney General's Excellence in Policing Awards. Always honored and humbled to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you in law enforcement and in our prosecutors' offices as we protect and serve the citizens of this great state of New Jersey. Congratulations, everybody.
Good morning. I'm Hudson County Prosecutor Esther Suarez and President of the County Prosecutors Association of New Jersey. It is an honor to welcome you to the inaugural Excellence in Policing Awards ceremony. We are grateful for all of our law enforcement partners and the sacrifices they make each and every day. One of today's awards is named after Jersey City Police Detective Joseph Seals, who just 1 year ago made the ultimate sacrifice in protecting our community. We are grateful to the Attorney General for recognizing Detective Seals and his heroism, and thank all the award recipients for their valor. Congratulations to you all.
My name is Louis Bordy, and I'm the Chief of Police for the Voorhees Police Department and the current President for the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police. It's my honor to represent the chiefs across New Jersey in congratulating the award recipients in the inaugural Attorney General's Office Excellence in Policing Award ceremony. I had a chance to review the award categories and the recipient police officers, prosecutors, and their departments, and it remains evident that policing in New Jersey continues to lead our country in areas like resiliency, training, and policy development. Truly a great job by all. I would like to thank Attorney General Grewal for the opportunity to address the award recipients and again congratulate everyone on their work done here in 2020. Congratulations.
The Detective Joseph Seals Valor Award, honoring a police officer who demonstrated an act of extraordinary bravery or heroism in the line of duty. Named for Detective Joseph Seals, a 13-year veteran of the Jersey City Police Department who tragically lost his life in the line of duty in December 2019. Detective Seals' actions in December of 2019 likely saved the lives of many others. He was no stranger to heroism. In 2008, he broke through a window and stopped the rape of a 41-year-old woman on Christmas Eve. The Detective Joseph Seals Valor Award is bestowed posthumously to Patrolman Sean C. Peak of the Bridgeton City Police Department.
It hit me hard because I spent so much time, not only with Sean on the department, but as I said, a number of years, he was one of my detectives when I was in charge of the detective bureau, and it hurt me. He always had a cheery smile. He didn't have attitude, but Sean was pretty even-keeled. He understood. He understood what the job was. He understood what the job asked. He made sacrifices both in his personal life and career, and he accepted change. It happens quite often around the country and around the state. This was a first for our police department, and Sean put his job on the line. There was someone that was committing acts of criminal mischief, burglary. Despite that, you know, the person entered the river. Sean didn't think twice about going in. It was admirable on his part to make that decision, and most people might turn around and say that why did Sean go in the water and save somebody that was doing all that damage or doing those type of crimes? But a person is a person, and we don't pick and choose. No police officer does. And I know Sean. I've known him for the length of his career, and I know he wouldn't think twice about doing something like that. And as would any of the officers here and any of the officers in the state or the country. He was a family man. I mean, every conversation I had with Sean always went back to his daughter. And I joked at the services that he would ask me about my son, and he knew my son. My son's older, he's 24 years old, but he would ask me about my son. He bought a set of drums off my son years ago, and he would ask me how he's doing, but I don't think he even cared about that. I think it was just a segue into talking about his daughter, and he would go on for the next 20 minutes talking about just about everything that his daughter was doing, how she was progressing, how she was now doing this and now doing that, and it was into soccer and was into different things. And you could just see his eyes light up every time he spoke about his family and his daughter, especially his daughter. And he was a very doting father, to say the least.
He was very patient. He's a very caring person. And just the way he dealt with me, I would say, is probably the best way somebody could deal with my personality. He got everything through to me. He explained everything so well, and I learned very quickly with Sean. We really didn't have a choice, and I'll always be grateful that it was him, because I think anyone else back there probably would have, given up on me or not had the patience. I still use a lot of the techniques that he used, his interview style. Anybody that knows him knew that he was, a very calm guy. He was a guy that talked to you. He was very non-threatening, and that definitely has a place in an interview room, depending on the type of case. One of the big concentrations that he had, that I ended up also having, in probably my first 6 months to a year, was child forensic interviewing. So we would interview children that were victims of crime or that were witnesses to crime. And he was a great guy to learn from there, because his demeanor was so good with kids that, he would sit down, he would go to their level, and they felt comfortable talking to them. Can't walk in there and be, the big bad cop and expect, a 6-year-old that's probably already traumatized to talk to you. And Sean just had a very good approach, and that's one to this day that when I go in there, Sean's in my head somewhere, and, I try to emulate that as much as possible. The thing that sticks with me the absolute most about Sean is just his love of his daughter. When she came along, he had pictures, and we used to actually make fun of him about it, like in good fun, but he had pictures of her. She was a screensaver. She was the pictures. She was on a coffee mug. I mean, everything you can imagine. And he loved Kate so much, and always will. And it just the love that he had for her was, you knew that he was cut out to not just be a dad, but to be a girl dad. I mean, he just sucked that role up, and it was great to watch. It was great to watch, but it also speaks to his heart, and he took that heart everywhere he went, whether it was as a father, as a husband, as a patrolman, or as a detective. He carried that good heart in everything that he did, and that's something that I always remember about him.
He helped me when I got hired. He was very instrumental in getting me started here. He helped me go through the process of becoming a new officer, gave me some tips, gave me some key pointers, how to keep your uniform nice, how to keep your belt and your boots polished, just certain little things. And he always went out of his way to make sure that the new officers, whether on his shift or not, and just in passing in the hallway, felt welcomed and knew what to do. I think that he's one of those kinds of guys that every police department needs, and he's going to be, already is, sorely missed. Thank you. I would tell him thank you. And that I always looked up to him. He always did a professional, good job, especially when dealing with people. He always had that mannerism that, people respected on the street, and he held himself at a higher standard. Always kept his uniform sharp, and I just want to tell him thank you for teaching me how to do that stuff as well.
Sean Peak was a great officer, great father, great family man. And to me, and this is just me, I can't speak for anybody else around here, but for me, he was the embodiment of what the oath of this office is, and that is to serve and protect lives, property, and everything. My first thought was, where was Sean when I got there? And I immediately went, when I thought he was still in the water, I grabbed that rescue rope, I ran over to where he was, I threw it in. And I was telling him, hold on, Sean, hold on. And, of course we got him out, but unfortunately the end result wasn't what we wanted. That night he showed it. He put it out there and he showed it, that how much, regardless of whatever situation or encounter, he was willing to do what he had to do for the public. And he will have my unwavering respect for what he did. And the only thing I can do to say is, I remember him every day. And I've always been that kind of guy to be like that for the public, for my fellow officer. And what he did goes beyond anything that I've done in the past in my eyes. And I think it'd be a way to honor him just to do what he did, and that is to do the job, be dedicated to the public, and make sure all of us go home at night.
Here you go. I would walk in, and the first thing he would say is, Josh Thompson. He always said, Josh Thompson. He never called me Josh. He said, Josh Thompson. No tasty cakes today, no pies today. The first thing, the joke is that they think I eat nothing but junk. And of course, that was his thing. He would say, let me check your counter, your desk to see if you have any tasty cakes sitting in there. But that's his first thing. And he greeted me the same way, even until the last time I saw him. It was like, Josh Thompson. It was like he was singing, Josh Thompson. He was just that guy. Sean was just that guy. He was just that guy. He would make me laugh every day because he greeted me the same way every day. But he was he took his job seriously, and he's just missed. I would say Sean Peak. We had a lot of good times. I couldn't even ask why you would go in the water because I know that's just what you would do. The only thing I could say to him is just, Sean Peak, no cakes today. No cakes today, Sean.
The Detective Pablo Santiago Resiliency Award, honoring a police officer who developed an innovative program or initiative to improve officer safety and wellness, named for Mercer County Sheriff's Officer Detective Pablo Santiago, who lost his life to suicide in December of 2018. Detective Santiago's untimely death was the inspiration for the Attorney General's statewide law enforcement resiliency program. The Detective Pablo Santiago Resiliency Award is presented to Patrol Sergeant Antonia Gonzalez of the Long Branch Police Department.
So the Long Branch Police Department was started over 150 years ago. We now have approximately 92 full-time officers here. In the summer, since we are a short town, we hire quite a few Class 1 and Class 2 specials, approximately 50 each summer. And we're a very busy department, more so in the summer, but pretty much all year around. So today we're filming this at the Fallen Officers Memorial. I think that's important as we're talking about the Resiliency Award. It's important for officers not only to be physically fit and to be safe on the street, but also to be mentally fit. We've seen far too many mental issues with officers around the state in the past few years, and we hope that the resiliency room that Sergeant Gonzalez started will help combat that issue.
The resiliency room came into play was over a year ago. The Attorney General's office had training, and they basically told us that down the road they were going to have a resiliency program for the officers to train our officers. Probably about a month later, Sergeant Gonzalez came up to me and said, "Well, Captain, I would like to take this a lot further, and I would like to create a resiliency room." I told her I had bigger plans in mind, and I was trying to get a bigger room outside of our headquarters that wasn't being used to its fullest potential, I guess. First, the biggest reason is we didn't have the room inside of our headquarters. But the other reason is if our officers want to, I guess, de-stress, I don't think our headquarters is probably the best place. Because you come into our headquarters, there's always things going on, there's people moving around, and I don't think any of our officers would want to go into a room that's labeled a resiliency room, because I think a lot of them would be afraid to be labeled that maybe they need any type of help. I would like to make it, we call it a break room / resiliency room, so that our officers could go on break, and maybe they're there for a meal, or maybe they're there because they really need a few minutes to themselves. And like this, they're not going to be labeled that they went into the resiliency room in a negative way or anything like that.
The resiliency room is this room here that we're in, and it is a place for our police officers to come in and relax, or eat their lunch, do their work, and just have a place that they can unwind in and just be in peace. The idea came from something that was in my heart a while ago. I'm in health and wellness. I have a bachelor's in health and wellness, and I personally have experienced stress on the job, through my personal life, and my dream was always to have a place where people can go and relax. So in this whole thing that the state started with the initiative, I went to the summit, the initial summit, and I sat with 2 other officers, and I was thinking about this. And then I came back, and Captain Silverio was really wanting to put numbers together, because, you know, officer suicide is a real thing. Officer stress is a real thing. And he wanted to make sure that there were programs already in place in case we needed them. He says, God forbid we ever need them, but he wanted to make sure that we had that. So the other officers, when they found out about the resiliency room, a lot of them were like, what can I do to help? And I think this is amazing. Of course, you're going to have people that are not going to say anything, because, you know, in this job, a lot of times you don't say anything. But then what I started seeing was there was trash in the trash can. And then I asked a couple people, I'm like, have you seen anybody going up there? Are they using it? And then I was like, I started feeling maybe that they weren't. And then one of my friends said, you know, they're using that room, and you should really be proud of yourself. And I was like, I'm proud of all of us, really, because this is not just me. In order for things to work together, it has to be everybody coming together to make it work. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped about it. Officer suicide is a serious, serious thing. And then if we can all come together to talk about the things that affect first responders, I think that we're winning. And that makes me feel really good.
The Attorney General's 2121 Award, honoring a county prosecutor's office which exhibited outstanding community outreach efforts in advancing the Attorney General's 21 county 21st century community policing project. The Attorney General's 2121 Award is presented to the Essex County Prosecutor's Office.
The Community Justice Unit was formed in the year 2001, and at that time we had only one community justice coordinator and a supervisor, both of whom were no longer at the office, but the ideals that they set in place, we continue to today. One of the ideas that was put in place by Ms. Keisha Trotman is our high school summer internship program. And we have since 2001 every year had a high school internship program for rising high school seniors that introduce young people into careers in government as well as law enforcement. That program has been highly successful. We run for 5 weeks in the summer, from July, the first week in July to the first week in August, and the students who participate actually have the opportunity to be a part of the State Troopers Youth Cadet Program, State Trooper Youth Week Cadet Program, as well as they meet with their local law enforcement officers and work in the community. They also do a mock trial, and then they meet with various people in government, including the presiding judge, as well as defense attorneys and prosecutors, to talk about careers in government. And we have various agencies, from the sheriff officer to the U.S. Marshal to the local police officers, who talk to our students about what they do. Over the years, the community justice program has grown. We now have every year 2 community justice conferences for high school and middle school students. The first one is for the middle school students, and we call that What's It All About Conference. And in that conference, we introduce middle school students to talking about things as making the right decisions in life, learning about internet safety, being aware of gangs in their community, as well as learning how to make decisions with regard to doing the right thing. Our high school program also introduces the students to talk about such things as what to do in an interview, what to do when stopped by law enforcement or ICE agents. Also, we train the students, we inform the students about their rights. How does the law treat you when you're a juvenile versus what happens when you become an adult at the age of 18? So those are some of the community outreach programs that we do here in the Essex County Prosecutor's Office. I am proud of the fact that some of the students who have been part of our Essex County Prosecutor's Office high school program, they have gone on to college, and when they were in college, they came back and served as our high school liaison with the new incoming classes for our high school kids. And we have hired at least approximately 3 to 4 people who were our high school interns who went to college and graduated from college, who were hired by the Essex County Prosecutor's Office as support staff personnel. Some of our high school kids that were not hired by us, but they went on to higher education, are now attorneys themselves, or they're law enforcement officers working either for the correction department or various police departments. At first we couldn't believe it, because we were like, really? Because we put our names in for awards before and did not receive recognition. So we were very, very happy, very humbled by knowing that the Attorney General is aware of what we do and thought that we were worthy of this. And also we're charged with trying to do more for the community. I think our Prosecutor Theodore Stevens, he was very happy. He has been a very good support of our unit since he's been with us, and he encourages us to do more, and he's also helping us to expand.
The Attorney General's Initiative Award, honoring a police department or county prosecutor's office which demonstrated outstanding efforts towards advancing one of the Attorney General's key initiatives, namely combating the opioid crisis, reducing gun violence, and improving police-community relations. This year's Attorney General's Initiative Award is presented to the New Jersey State Parole Board for the Swift, Certain, and Fair Sanctions Supervision Initiative.
The Swift, Certain, and Fair grant that we were fortunate to receive the Attorney General's Award for was a grant we applied for in 2017, recognizing the significant opioid problem and issue in the state of New Jersey, nationwide actually. We applied for a grant for the County of Ocean, which in New Jersey has a high incidence of individuals that unfortunately were either hospitalized or died as a result of an opioid-induced overdose. And we applied and we received the grant from the Office of Justice Programs in 2017, as I mentioned. So that particular grant, we partnered with the New Jersey Reentry Corporation. It's been a valued partner of ours, as well as Barnabas, RWJ Barnabas. So New Jersey Reentry Corporation provided a case manager that oversaw the program, enrollment, and worked closely with our parole officer in District Office Number 3, which is based in Red Bank. So we then had a situation where we had a case manager, a parole officer, and then we also had a recovery coach, which is a critical component of the grant and really the fabric of what we did. So we have a recovery coach, and then we also had a part-time recovery coach. So any individual that was enrolled in the program was in a situation where they, at any time, 24/7, they could call the recovery coach who has been in that same situation, could provide advice, counsel, guidance, referrals to treatment. So we were able to expand the program to reach even more parolees, to provide treatment services, recovery coach services, 24/7 access, which greatly reduced the incidence of overdoses and returns to prison as technical parole violators. That was a critical component of the program, is that individuals not only had access to treatment, but weren't violating parole for using CDS, arrests due to drug use, and non-compliance issues. That was largely diminished as a result of the grant. I also think that as a result of what we've seen, we now know how an officer can correctly and appropriately and more importantly, collaboratively interact with treatment providers, recovery coaches, and then to really ensure that the individuals that are under our supervision are getting the best possible care. So success stories to us are individuals that are able to go home to their families every night, to be able to be productively employed, to have individuals that will look at their situation with a different eye and believe they can achieve something that they never previously thought they could. And that's to be able to come home, hug your kids, look your kids in the eye, and then be there for them every step of the way, or their significant other, to really be a part of the family unit again. Once the team found out about the award, they were thrilled. Obviously, no one's doing this for an award. Certainly no one is doing this for any recognition other than the mission. And our mission is a dual mission at Parole. It's public safety and successful offender rehabilitation. So that's the gratification that will be sufficient for us. We need no more gratification than that. However, I will tell you that the team was thrilled to receive the Attorney General's Award, kind of a culmination of the end of the grant. We're in the last month of the grant until we go on to the research aspect. So it's a nice exclamation point. Not only the recognition, but also it's kind of a springboard to a future grant submission. So in a nutshell, we very much appreciate and thank the Attorney General for the recognition for this award. But it's certainly not a point. It's certainly not a stopping point for us. It's merely a jumping off point.
The Innovations in Public Safety Award, honoring a police department or county prosecutor's office which developed an innovative program or initiative utilizing community policing practices or community-based intervention services to promote public safety. This may also include the use of technology to effectively promote community engagement and outreach. The Innovations in Public Safety Award is presented this year to the Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office for the series Coping with COVID.
At the Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office, we're committed to reimagining public safety. So it's important to us to work on intervention as well as prevention. And coping with COVID was an easy way to do that within our community.
So it really started when we had a stakeholder call, and as we were talking to a couple of others that are in various coalitions or cohorts, they were communicating that people were feeling that stress and the pressure that was coming from social distancing. And in talking to those stakeholders, there was kind of this thought process of what if we could reach them with resources that are still available and bring some hope and some unity and resources.
We have a number of stakeholders that we regularly work with here in Cumberland County. So when we started this series, we did a call out to them and did 9 different episodes of Coping with COVID. We did episodes on dealing with stress and mental health. We did an episode dealing with recovery. We did an episode on looking for signs with our children to make sure that they are doing well during quarantine. We also did an episode with one of our chaplains so that the community knew that the chaplains were still out and about in the community and able to help them.
You know, there's a whole litany of things that we could address, and our approach and our strategy is to say, on a longitudinal basis, all of these things, if we approach them in things that were felt needs exist, will have an impact in the right direction when it comes to crime and crime reduction. So that's the vision that the prosecutor has and that I'm fully on board with and excited when we get into pivoting to meet the felt needs of the community, whether it's just resources like this or looking at grants that we could find to bring dollars in to address things on a real-time basis with real bodies and real strategies that are going to bring a change to our community.
Okay, yeah, you guys can come in now. As a person who was quarantining right along with everyone else, we started to see things that could become issues in our community, such as people were doing many more online shopping arrangements. So we had our consumer protection advocate, Jim Matlock, on the program to tell seniors as well as people who were less familiar with the internet how to be safe during online shopping and to be aware of online scams that might take advantage of them.
I was really excited when we found out that we got the award. I think we have done a lot of work, and sometimes you wonder if that work is going to be noticed. So for us to receive this award is a really big honor. I think we have so many good things that are happening in this county and really throughout the state. So I'm proud of the Attorney General's office to put forth this whole initiative that there is excellence in policing that's happening. We're really proud of our municipal police officers that are day in and day out are living this. I love when community policing officers now are coming to me, and then I'm going to the prosecutor and we're saying, hey, this guy has this idea, for his unit. Could we incorporate that, or could we find dollars to address that initiative or that idea that they have? And so I think for us to receive this award feels really good because it's just one more recognition that we're doing something that is really shared among not just our whole office, but really our whole policing and law enforcement community here in Cumberland.
We were really excited when we heard that we won this award because we want to be leaders in community policing. And we want the community to know that we're not only there to prosecute crimes, we're also there to help keep the community safe and help people make healthy, positive choices.
The Outstanding Community Partnership Award, honoring a police department or county prosecutor's office which implemented or strengthened a community partnership or collaboration with community stakeholders to advance public safety. This year's Outstanding Community Partnership Award is presented to the Collingswood Police Department for the Police Chiefs Advisory Committee.
Collingswood is a very unique community. I was born and raised here. We were very diverse here. And what really makes it special here is just the small town feel that you have, where you can walk down Main Street here and know 10 or 15 people and talk to them like they were part of your family. So it's really a small, close-knit family environment here that makes it a unique place to live. So here at the Collingswood Police Department, we have 28 full-time officers and about 15 special officers that supplement our full-time officers. We have 2 female officers, 1 Hispanic officer currently that are full-time, and we have 3 Hispanic special officers at the time being. Community involvement is very important. Me as the chief, I can stand up and tell the community that we're behind them. We do a certain number of things to help support them as a community, but it means more for that community voice to go out to the neighborhood and tell them that they're working alongside the police department and they have input into the service that we do provide. So we can look at quality of life issues, those things that mean a lot to our neighborhoods that we might not necessarily know. And those neighborhoods can know that we're paying attention, we care about that, and we're taking action to correct some of those things that everyone can enjoy a better quality of life here. We have started a Chiefs Advisory Committee here, which really speaks to truly connecting with your community. So my take on it is you have 2 camps and 2 very strong bases, one being the police department, one being the community. You need that strong piece of steel that's going to connect those 2 pieces of concrete, and that's what the Chiefs Advisory Committee does. It really makes that community spirit here one that is encompassed by the police department and pushed out throughout the community, and making sure that the community then gives us what their thoughts are and what level of service they expect on the back end too, so that we're really matching what our community needs are. The Chiefs Advisory Committee was started about 3 months ago here. We've met monthly since then, and really what the purpose of the beginning meetings is for them to have a better understanding of what laws and what policies dictate how the police department operates and why they operate that way. So that's the part we're going through now, is just having a better understanding on the community level of why the department does what they do and how they do it. The next step we're going to be taking is really increasing what the community wants to have a level of service above that from the police department. So the state sets certain guidelines that we need to follow, and the community has certain expectations on the back end of that, of what they would like to see our unique community be able to service our community's needs. So that is our next step and what we're going through now. There's some open agenda items. A lot of it's based on recruitment and selection. They're going to be helping with having us recruit a more diverse department that's more reflective of our community. So the application process for this award went out a few months ago. We most recently found out that we were the recipient of the Outstanding Community Partnership Award. It's something that means a lot to me. I was born and raised here, and this community made me who I am. This is my ability to give back to the community. So I have an awesome responsibility as the chief of police here. One of those responsibilities is providing a safe environment for the community members to live here. The other part of that is matching their needs and really being responsive to what they need as a community and making sure our services are what they expect them to be. So it's our ability to give back to the community.
The Outstanding Youth Engagement Award, honoring a police officer who designed and implemented an innovative program or initiative to promote stronger police youth engagement. The Outstanding Youth Engagement Award is presented this year to Detective Anthony Carrington III from the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office, Major Crimes Unit, for the MOVE project.
MOVE was founded by myself and a couple of my best friends from college. It was started as to be a beacon of light for the impoverished youth. And it was really just so that the kids had someone to look up to, a mentorship role if they had any questions about school, life, decisions, sports, anything that they needed, we were there for them. I got hired with the prosecutor's office about 5 years ago. About a year into it, the prosecutor had mentioned that you want to be more engaged with the youth, and are there any programs that targeted the youth? I mentioned MOVE, and the prosecutor's office ran with it. Now it's in the application of basketball camps, speaking engagements at churches, and special events. I think now more than ever is paramount that individuals don't see law enforcement as, the gun and the badge, and I think that's what MOVE does. MOVE allows individuals to see cops as humans, as they don't have their uniform on, they got shorts on, they got a shirt on, and they see him as coach, as a friend, as someone they're going to talk to about the good grades that they just got, or that big shot that they didn't feel comfortable taking you encourage them to make that shot, take that shot, and that carries over to life. One a good friend of mine, he suffered a stroke at the young age of 19. He was playing collegiate basketball. He was running down the court, collapsed, and had to learn how to walk again, talk again, the whole bit. A kid after he spoke, the youth came up to me and was basically in tears. I'm thinking that he fell and tripped and he's hurting it, but what happened was his father suffered a stroke. He ended up passing away. His older brother always dealt with the law in a negative aspect. He kind of didn't like police at the young ages. I think he was 12 or 14. And this is almost at the conclusion at the camp, and he came up to me, and when he was explaining his home situation, he said, I don't view cops the way that I did prior to this camp. You're my coach and you're my friend. And he said that, he's going to do everything that he can to be a law enforcement officer. He's going to get the good grades, and he's going to start taking school more seriously. Every single participant, has these stories where, they're not the same person when they started from the conclusion of the camp. And I think that's why MOVE is not like any other program that I know, is because, you already have them just by being an athlete, just by them playing a sport, just by you being their coach. They're super engaged just off of that. Kids, it takes a while for them to really start listening to you. But, once you start talking to them about a sport, it's something that they already love, and then trickling in all the things that, you want to get through to them, i.e., leadership skills, saying no to drugs, making the right decisions, being around the right people, they're so engaged that they start understanding, oh, okay, you know what? Coach is talking to me about sports, but coach is also talking to me about, real life stuff. And that's why I love MOVE, and that's why I would never stop being engaged in the community, because every kid, no matter what they grow up in, needs an outlet, and they need somebody. And if somebody needs me, I'll be that somebody to whoever that is. My father is actually a captain with Ocean County Prosecutor's Office, and he always came home with a smile on his face, telling me cool stories. He really did enjoy being a law enforcement officer, being a detective with the prosecutor's office. I never saw law enforcement as a job, but it was a profession, something that you can get lost in, and you're going to be in it for 25, 30 years, and you're going to look back on the first year like it was yesterday. And when I was talking to my father about the career choices I'm going to make, this is definitely the only thing that I wanted to do. Helping an individual, being that person's, light in the darkest, most egregious, acts of crimes that happen. And you're that individual that, they can rest assured that you're going to do everything that you can to make whatever situation better. And there's no other feeling like it. I love it. I've been in it for approximately like 5 years, and every day I come to work with a smile on my face. I love what I do.
Police Chaplain of the Year, honoring an exceptional chaplain who goes above and beyond the normal duties of a police chaplain to serve the needs of the department and the community. The Police Chaplain of the Year this year is Pastor Terrence T.K. Porter of Pilgrim Baptist Church of Red Bank, and chaplain to the Monmouth County Chiefs Association.
I think initially one of my roles was just to be available for the police association, the Chiefs Association. But then they recognized that I had a little bit more to offer as far as helping them to change the tone and tenor of policing in the county. Not only did I function and try to sort of look at the chaplaincy, not just being there and opening up the meeting in prayer and closing with the benediction. I felt the Lord was leading us to do more. And the more I engaged in conversation with the executive board, it was obvious that more could be done with the chaplaincy program. One of which is that I could make myself available to the police officers and all the municipalities that did not have chaplains to help them just dealing with workplace anxiety, dealing with marriage and divorce issues, dealing with drugs and alcoholism, just dealing with the humanity of just serving as one who's is entrusted to protect and serve the community. I think that was really a very important piece, because that was my heart. My heart is in pastoral care and counseling that was my seminary degree and focus. And my heart is really helping in relationships. And so because there was so much happening in our society, where the narratives of police, their perspective to especially the Black community and the Black community's perspective to policing, I thought we could really grow the chaplaincy program to speak to some of the issues that were obviously being spoken of through the prism of local media or national media. And usually those perceptions are not reality. So that led us to be more involved. The Police Association, Police Chief Association, has sort of allowed me to develop other partnerships with the community. We started partnerships with a lot of youth programs where we have the Lakewood Blue Claws game each year. We just take them at no cost to anyone, to the students. And we take a group of chiefs and a group of young kids from the Boys and Girls Club throughout the county. But part of it is that each chief and each policeman has to partner with one of the students. So they're sort of hand in hand asking each other questions. And then from there, we have that grew, and we started what we refer to as Wishing Upon a Star initiative. For our meetings in November and October, we would get each police chief to select a student, name of a student, which was given to us by the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth County. And they would go out and actually go shopping for that student. And then during the installation dinner of the chief's function, what would happen is all the chiefs would have to bring the toys at that time. So you would see over 1,000 toys before they would get to the reception. And all the chiefs were really buying in, excited about bringing the toys and being a part of it. So our first year, we partnered with Jersey Shore Rescue Mission. And we had about 300 families that came. Pilgrim, our missionary ministry and outreach ministry, we provided the meal where every family member had a beautiful first-class meal. And then every chief, you just saw them, they all came in their uniforms. It was pretty incredible. They handed out toys to everyone that they sponsored. And it was just a moving experience. It just really allowed the community, which was the goal from my perspective, to see the chiefs and see police through a different prism. When I was younger, I had some issues. Let's put it like that. My mama would tell me I had a lot of issues, but I had some issues and got into some trouble. And one time I got into, it was stupid stuff, but we got involved in. And I remember when the police officer came, they came, and I had to spend some time. I was real young, so they were really trying to prove a point more than anything else, putting the fear of God in me. But the one police officer, his name was Frank Naviglia. I'll never forget him. He was a detective. I think he's passed on by now, but this was a policeman, a white policeman, telling me that he was going to let me go. I was wrong. I was guilty. They could have, it could have went a whole different way. But he just said, remember this moment, because when it comes a time for you to help someone else, I hope and pray that you will do it with no reservation. I remember that policeman because he made a difference in my life. And I work in chaplaincy with law enforcement because I believe I can make a difference. So I appreciate y'all having me, okay?
Congratulations again to all of our outstanding award recipients. Your stellar service is an inspiration to all of us. Many special thanks to all of the law enforcement executives who submitted these nominations. While this season is fraught with challenges, let's hold fast to these shining star examples, that together we can make a difference, that together we can build trust, together we can improve the communities we serve. Thank you once again for joining us today. Happy holidays to all of you, and please stay safe.